I said rock to the rhythm, but don't stop. Cause get a funk's got to beat the short shot. I said rock to the rhythm, but don't stop. Get a funk got to beat the short shot. I said rock to the rhythm, but don't stop. Cause get a funk's got to beat the short shot. I said rock to the rhythm, but don't stop. Get a funk got to beat the short shot. I said rock to the rhythm, but don't stop.
So, Yeti's cruised by, and I'm going to show him around the shop.
Let's go for a walk.
It's the lobby. This is where we spend all the money.
Yep, that's where it goes.
Yeah, this is Curtis, Service Riders.
What's
Yeti.
up, Curtis? Excellent. It looks expensive in here.
Yeah. That's. I got a self-portrait over there.
There it is. Obviously, your arm candy. Okay. Everybody's got it.
We all got that one guy.
I might take him with me.
I'll turn this down a little bit.
What's up, homie?
What's going on?
Yeti. Nice to meet you.
Micah.
This is my youngest son.
All right.
He's 14, believe it or not.
What are you feeding him? It runs in the family, apparently.
Eggs.
all the proteins. All the proteins.
All of them. So he's shining up the CJ7 because we have a gig tomorrow doing a classroom for...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Tomorrow, but Sunday.
Oh,
Sunday.
Sundays.
I almost wanted to come tomorrow, but I've got other stuff happening. But
Yeah,
super rad.
Sunday's going to be fun at Duckfoot. Tomorrow is here for San Diego Jeep Club, and we're going to do like a beginner's class on how to check your Jeep pre-trip.
yeah.
So I was thinking about that. A pre-trip inspection. I always tell people you got to do a pre-trip inspection and a post-trip inspection. But if you do a post-trip inspection, is a post-trip inspection really just a pre-trip inspection for
An
your
early
next one?
It's an early one. It's
Right?
like an Eve, pre-trip inspection.
And if I
Eve.
do one now, isn't this one
Right,
technically?
right.
If I do one now and I'm wheeling tomorrow, this is the post-trip inspection from the wheeling I just did.
It sounds like you do more inspection than wheeling at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the terminology right. What is it? Is it a pre-trip or a post-trip, or can it be both?
Yeah, that's a real chicken and the egg situation.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't
Anyways,
ask me. Don't ask me.
CJ7, we built this in like 3 months, slammed it together, rule book built so that we could race it in 4600.
Nice.
Like I said in our video
Those
on
don't
YouTube.
look 4600.
These?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't look at that. This is our Moab setup.
I like it.
So when we
I
went
like
to
it.
Moab, we threw some 37s on it just
Make it
because
work. Make it work.
it just makes it work a little better.
Looks good, though.
When we pre-run and we are practicing for the hammers, we have the 35s on. But just fills out the fender well a little bit better. Looks better when it's
Gets
sitting
it
in the
up a
booth.
little
and,
bit, yeah.
You know, get it out.
How is it as far as mannerisms? Still as predictable and the same kind of wheeling on 35s and 37s?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell the difference, to be honest. Don't mind that 392.
I was going to say, all the V8 things.
Yeah, that one's a fun build too. That guy, that's a young man. Yeah, young man, 16 years old. This is his first car.
Sounds like he's living right.
Yeah, he's got the
My
392 Rubicon Recon. We've already done a Atlas transfer case swap in it.
Jeez.
We've done 1-ton swap on it. It's got a mild Evo lift on it. It's nothing wild because it just doesn't need it.
You say that, but it's a first car. That's a pretty wild first car. What was your first car?
My first car was a 1976 Honda Civic.
That's pretty
The
cool.
CVCC, right?
Ooh, I know the one. The big guy in a little car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was opposite. I was a little guy in a Oldsmobile 88, the 70s. Just a big old tank.
Those were rad.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess my second car though was the cooler car. It was a 70s Triumph Spitfire.
Oh, that is cool.
Still
that
have
is
that
cool.
car.
No way. The same car?
Well, I've had like 6 of them, but the one I do have was the one I bought one because my grandpa had one, and I loved it.
Yep.
Well, now he has since passed on and gave it to my dad. My dad has since passed on, and I've got the original one.
That's so sick.
So the one I had in
That's
high
sick.
school, I don't have because I wrecked
Yep,
it.
yep.
But I still have my grandfather's original
So
one.
it sounds like a Volkswagen type thing. I was a Volkswagen kid, and then that's it. I ran with Volkswagens for years
Right?
because of that passion.
They're super fun.
So I see something I like, a straight axle swapped Exploder.
Yep. So that's Jake's. Jake's been with me forever. He's over there working on this Hemi.
Yeah.
This is his personal vehicle.
Yeah.
That he spent a lot of time.
Pretty awesome. Something I don't see in the Midwest is the old Fords.
Yeah.
I'm a geek for it. I like a Ranger kid, Explorer kid. So, you know, I brought that East County thing, black socks, flat bills, and inappropriate Fords.
It doesn't have white front fenders.
Oh, yeah, I know. I got to slowly introduce that to the Midwest.
Yeah.
It might hurt feelings at first, but
Yeah.
I am running glass and stuff on mine, and it's like,
I just tell people that people say, well, that was all started because the kids who were building them couldn't afford to paint them to match. And I'm like, no, it's because it's in California. You're not allowed to paint them.
Yeah, right. EPA stuff.
Yeah.
You wouldn't understand.
They locked up those cabinets. Remember, you go to the hardware store, and you're like, I just want to buy a can of spray paint.
You need an ID with an 18. Yeah, believe me.
The
Yeah.
kids had the money to paint it. They just weren't allowed to buy the
That's
paint.
so funny. Funny. What are you working? Oh, this is the one.
This is another one. This is
got some big dog shocks on it.
Yeah, this was, we didn't build this one, but this customer came in and we're adding the bypasses for him. So
It looks sick.
I'm not sure, is this a Rebel kit?
I have to feel like it is.
I feel like this is a Rebel kit.
Yep.
So he bought the Rebel kit and then we're just installing it for him.
That's rad.
He's been rolling this setup for a while and I just think he wants a little bit more go fast.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
Right?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you guys get to turn wrenches on pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, we like to get our hands. I'm getting really good at saying no. For years, I wouldn't say no to anything.
Yeah. Well, there's an art to that.
Yeah, and I would just want, like I wanted everything in the shop. Like, what are you building? Crazier the better.
Yep.
Like if another shop said no, I was like, we're doing it.
You're the man.
I want to do it. And then I realized that I didn't make any money.
No, at that point you better be fulfilling something personally because
Yeah.
it isn't your wallet.
No, so I just figured it was me learning, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm self-taught in everything. I
like that.
I don't
Same
like
here.
school, man. I
Same
just
like
would
that.
stay in school, everybody.
Yeah.
Don't be a fool. Stay in school.
Listen to us, 9th grade educated over here.
Yeah.
I had a full-time job when I was a kid, living on my own. So
I tell everybody,
stay in school.
Yeah, you can.
You don't want to be like this.
You can learn on your own.
Yeah,
We did it.
yeah.
We just took an extra 10 to 15 years to learn it.
Way before Google
Yeah,
and
right?
YouTube, I'll tell you what.
If you just go to school and learn it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we've gotten better at, we work on just Jeeps, but we turn down big fab jobs. Like if somebody came in and wanted us to make them a full custom bumper, I'd say no. Go online. There's 4,000 of
Exactly
them to
the
choose
same
from.
thing I would say.
So
there's the perfect one out there. Just order it.
Yeah.
It fits. It works.
So it's it's tough because I know we're capable of anything here, right?
Yeah, you got the tools. I see the tools back here.
We just we have to sometimes say no, but
Well, allocate your time wisely,
Yeah.
right? So you can accomplish the goals you need to accomplish.
maybe one day we'll start a Toyota division.
Ew.
Any specific questions about the CJ?
Yes, I want to look.
let's-
I want to look all over it.
Okay, let's.
So it appears to be in good shape.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, if you look super close, I mean, obviously coming from restorations, I had to
You see it all.
tell my brain to take it down a notch because we were going to go beat it up.
Yeah, because it could come back not like this at all.
Yeah, so
You know.
when we did the frame off and we sanded it all the way down to the metal and started all over.
The vibe's right, dude, with the stripes.
Yeah, this is
the
genuine,
colors.
era correct color. If the paint code is.
What would it be like, AMC style back then?
Yep,
Were they-
yeah. I even got the AMC logo
Yeah,
on it.
it's so good.
So it's 85, CJ7, everything where it's supposed to be.
Is that the exhaust poking out the back?
Yeah, so this would have been your gas fill.
Yes.
So we turned it into an
Super
exhaust.
Super clean. I like it.
That's rule book.
Yeah.
They said we can't have the exhaust
Dipping
move
down.
dirt.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, that's
At King of
interesting.
Hammers, if your exhaust moves dirt,
Wow,
then it's not legal.
I'm pretty much a geek for Ultra 4, and I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and it has to go right a certain amount past the driver
Okay.
and passenger compartment, which would have been easy, right? We could have
Dumped it.
turned it or dumped
Yeah,
it somewhere,
yeah.
but
No, that's the move.
that's the extra
I
special
was going to
move,
say,
right?
that's the flavor.
Well, we had to cut the muffler off too because of the anti-wrap, right?
Oh yeah, so we had a nice muffler there, and it was nice and quiet, and
clearance.
it was nice. And then we added an anti-wrap,
In the final hour, dude. It
like
wasn't
literally.
The scramble?
Yeah,
You're like, okay, well.
sawzall it out. We
yeah.
don't need it.
The dominoes started to fall.
So now you turn it on, it sounds like a motorboat.
Blah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, fire it up, Micah. It sounds just like you're launching a boat.
You weren't joking. You weren't joking.
Right?
I like the sound, though.
That's a boat.
That's an attitude. That's ridiculous. So,
Yeah, what else?
how did the race go? It looks fantastic.
So the race went good. We were, my biggest stress was getting to the lake bed and passing tech. Because you know how it is.
That's stressful.
Right? You get there and you've got all this time and money into
That
it for them to
effort,
just go,
all-
nope, sorry. So we passed tech, which was
Obviously,
incredible.
yep.
And
That's the first win.
Yeah, and I think, in all honesty, the guys who were doing the tech were so enamored by it that they were like,
Glazed over.
"It's fine,
They're
dude."
like, we love it.
Yeah.
But we got to look at it
Yeah,
more.
you got seatbelts, but go ahead, you're fine.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's a little hack right there. Build something cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be right. Just
Yeah,
build
if it was a
something cool.
shit box, they're going to really dig into it.
The only thing that they wanted us to do was to drill a hole in the door as like a secondary latch to bolt the door shut.
Yeah.
And the guy who asked,
Really?
Yeah, so
the
here,
guy who had to ask us was literally like, "I'm so sorry to ask you."
Let's
to
just
do
poke
this,
holes
but-"
in this
Yeah,
baby.
so-
They're
so-
like, you know what we're gonna go do with it.
yeah,
though.
so you know the rule, right? So we had our nets bolted here, and then as soon as the net was attached, this is our first latch. The net hooks here. This is considered a secondary latch,
Okay.
right? So it has the two latches, but when he opened the door, it would open like that far. Oh. And he was like, "That's too much."
Yes.
And I said, "Really?" And he just looked at me. He's like, "Bro," and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, just tell me what you want me to do." And he goes, "Well, you could drill a hole here and bolt this shut."
Holy cow.
And I'm like, So I locked this with the lock, and I go, "There, it's no longer a functioning door." And he goes, "Oh, you're good then."
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So we just locked the door.
I would tell you what, I wouldn't want to be drilling a hole last minute in my rig either.
No, he didn't want us to. He goes, "That's the only thing I can think you can do." He goes, "But I really don't want you to do that."
Yeah. Well, look at the rig. I mean, if you came in with something that looked like a raisin, they'd probably drill the hole for you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wouldn't have to ask.
Yeah. But during the race, what happened was, I'll full disclosure. I'll tell what really happened.
Okay.
You
here
heard
we
it
go.
here
This
first.
is our first
right.
time talking about
Oh
this.
well, I like the valve cover and
So it's basically just your regular 4.2, right?
Yep.
It's got the HAL injection on it. All the smog has been deleted.
So
We've
sick.
really done nothing to it. It's
just right and tight.
Yeah, that's it, right? It just needed to be reliable, right? We're not going to win. You don't win 4600 because you got a lot.
I will
horsepower.
say it's sanitary under here. I like the lines. Everything you ran
Right,
is
all my
super
lines
good.
are all
God,
copper
it looks-
nickel.
It looks great, dude.
It needs a big wash because we just went through a snowstorm with it. So, at Moab, but but yeah. So the race, they almost done with the first lap.
Yep.
90% of the first lap. What were you guys?
More than that. We were
You guys were
really-
like a half a mile from the backside of Revolution, right?
Yeah.
So you made it through the parking lot, and you're almost done with the first lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting ready to come back up Revolution, down back door, and finish
Yep,
lap one,
yep.
and the rear end locked up. Boom,
No.
and it just skidded to a stop, and it was done.
What in the
Jake
world?
got out, looked in there, said,
Pieces. Parts?
just like smoke coming off the rear diff, right? So
gosh.
we thought that we had hit a rock and
Starved it or
and pinched it a little bit and leaked all the fluid
Starved
out.
it, yeah.
And starved it,
Yeah.
right?
That's immediately what I thought.
Right. So we're like, okay, whatever it happens, shit happens, right? We're done. So the race gets over and they clear their track and we get to wheel out there with the trailer and bring it back. And the guys got home and took it apart and the pinion bearings were just melted solid in there, right? So for sure, oil starvation.
Welded itself
Yeah.
together.
So we're like, okay, well, let's put it back together and get some fresh stuff
Yeah.
in there and whatever. And we're driving it around and not too much. And then we take it to our Tony Tuesdays.
Okay.
Which we do. And and then Hannah's driving back from Tony Tuesdays on the freeway and the rear end
Oh, it did it
comes
again.
apart.
Oh my.
And we're like, and it sounded like it came apart. Like it was
That was a
bad.
nervous giggle right there.
So,
I have horrible luck, apparently.
yeah.
so me being me, I'm like, well, fuck it, damage is done. Put it in front wheel drive and
Yeah,
let's just
I
drive it
would
to
do
the
the
shop.
same thing.
So we drove it all the way to the shop. The rear end just making horrible noises.
I'll insert a video right here.
And so then we tear into it again and we're looking at it and we're like, God, it was the pinion bearing that blew out.
Wow.
That was making the noise. So I'm
Again,
like, all
you
right.
think starvation on something like
Yeah,
that?
so I'm
too?
like, I got to think, what am I doing wrong? Like,
Yeah.
what have I done wrong? Like, I need to step back and think about what I've done wrong. And then my son, 14-year-old son, who's back there, he measures from the ground to the fill hole and from the ground to the bottom of the axle. And because when we converted this JK axle to be leaf spring and we gave it some
yeah, angle.
angle so
Yeah.
that everything would bolt in correctly, and then the diff cover we chose to put on there, the oil wasn't even getting to the axle tubes, and it wasn't slinging it enough to get it. It wasn't slinging the oil enough
Yep.
to get to the pinion
Is
bearing.
it? I didn't look under there. Is it like a fabricated cover?
It was, yeah.
It
It's a
was.
different one now.
Okay.
And the original one wasn't necessarily bad. I don't like the original cover we had on there was a plated, boxy looking one.
I've had this problem with similar
Yeah,
things.
the ones I have on there now have a beautiful fabricated channel.
Yep.
So that when the oil hits it, it can actually sling it up to the pinion bearing.
Yeah, the splash.
And we also added our own fill hole on the top so that we can actually fill it up so that it actually goes down the axle tubes and it has enough oil to... So it was my fault from the beginning, this whole thing.
It's a learning curve. And
I feel like I should have known that. I feel like I should have noticed that. I knew about this, but I just didn't notice
when
it.
you're starting to slap parts together at that point, and it's especially something like a JK axle that's just tried and true. Right?
Yeah, and we were crunch time for sure, getting it to...
Custom problems. Right?
Yeah, we were crunching to get it to hammers, and it's just one of those things that I just spaced it.
Well, the way I look at it, it's like Johnson Valley giveth, Johnson Valley taketh away. Like straight up, if there's a weak link anywhere in it, it's going to be found, and typically lap one will show it.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't feel bad. No. I'd be proud to get half as far as you guys got. So.
Well, the only changes we're going to make, one, we fix the diff issues. We understand that. Yep. I'm going to spool the rear.
Totally. It's
Take
a race
the locker
car.
out.
It's a race car.
Right.
Less failure.
In the off season, I'll put the locker back in so we can drive it around and, but we'll spool the rear, and we're going to have Deaver make us some custom springs so that this works better.
Yep.
Because it doesn't work very good on the high
to
speed.
go.
I wasn't worried about it on lap 2 because it's rocks, but lap 1, this thing is like a pogo stick. It just can't work.
You're driving a Jeep, trying to go fast. That's what you're going to get.
A Jeep with leaf springs.
I love it. It's as it should be, though. It was cool to see it out there. So, plans about Ultra 4? Are you just going to try to hit hammers? You're not going to do any of the other Ultra 4 races? No
At the moment, no.
Yeah.
It's not in the budget.
Well, it's a big ask. It's a lot of traveling.
But it could be.
Yeah.
It could be, if we
I'm
get
going
some
to plant
sponsors.
that seed right now.
I'm game.
All right.
We win and we're going.
Yeah, so I'll just send water every once in a while and some sunshine. Let that grow. Let that grow. Well, thank you for showing me the rig. I'm fanboying right now because I was the guy online geeking out on it the whole time. So.
All right. We're going to go for a quick drive. I think you need to sit in the driver's seat of this thing at least once.
I agree. I agree with that.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Making it worse.
Oh yeah, I really had to get my co-driver to understand
That's where I go to driver and passenger.
Yeah, that's what I had to tell him. I was like, dude, you gotta turn right here. You gotta give me driver and passenger. I can't do right left. By the time I figured out which way right and left is, we're going the wrong direction.
You're on a different trail at that point.
Well, I must admit, you look pretty good driving this thing. I think.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Wrap it up. Bring it to Iowa.
That's great. It suits you well. It seems like your vibe.
It is my vibe. Like the Marlboro Man.
You just look like you belong right here, you know?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, so what is the main reason that you're in San Diego right now? What do you have going on?
That's a damn good question. I'm teaching like a social media class here locally in East County, which is pretty awesome. Phone call on Friday, on a plane Monday, and I had a little bit of time, so I bounced out.
They liked you.
I hope they still do.
Yeah.
Teaching.
With broken phone and all.
Yeah. Yeah. Drove right
Cracked
over
his
it.
phone.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So you're teaching the social media class.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up this week. Helping a local company here get online and figure out everything from like the grassroots stuff of just how to capture a video and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Then I head back to the Midwest and prep for my next trip to Nicaragua.
And you said, I wanted to clarify really quick, you said that this class you're teaching is kind of geared towards like the blue collar guy that's doing the race thing, doing the overtime paycheck to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
I think that that's super cool.
It is.
We see a lot of that here.
Mhm.
We got the Samurai. I don't know if you've seen the Bent Motorsports Samurai, Nick Abeda.
Awesome, I
There's
did.
SoCal Samurai on Instagram, but he's like the embodiment of that, and I think it's so cool. Like the guy who's literally out there just making it happen. Like minimal sponsorship, minimal like social media stuff, but trying to learn how to use those tools and be enthusiastic
Grassroots.
about it. I think that that's so
Yeah.
cool. So the fact that you're like helping those dudes, like those are the dudes that deserve the help. You know?
Well, they're all like-minded, right? They're
Yeah.
all people. So,
Yeah.
but, like, high tides raise all ships, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm fortunate enough to be in a position to help others get somewhere where they want to go. So
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah. And then you've got something else
Oh
to
yeah,
do
so I'll be jumping on a
horizon?
plane and heading to Nicaragua. How do you say it? Nicaragua?
Nicaragua?
Yeah, never been there. I could barely say it.
I'm not qualified to
Yeah.
answer that question.
Yeah, so I have a new spice blend, like for campfire cooking, called Trail Dust.
Hell yeah.
That I just came out with, which is really awesome. And I got a partnership worked out with a cigar company in Nicaragua. So we're gonna do kind of like the wine thing where maybe you make a meal and you pair a glass of wine or a drink with it. Instead, it's like an after dinner cigar
Oh,
around the
that's
campfire.
so cool.
So I get to go down there and check out Dissident Cigar. And one of the coolest thing about this trip, besides going to Nicaragua, is their farm where they grow all the tobacco leaves is on an island that's an active volcano. So we're
Wow.
like jumping on a boat and going out and checking out like the tobacco farm, which will be super epic.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna share it all on social, you know,
Nice.
because I'm tripping out. Like,
Yeah.
Yeti in Nicaragua.
Dude, that's the adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah, my goodness. Can you imagine what kind of trouble I can get into down
The
there?
blue collar adventurist goes
Yeah.
to Nicaragua.
I'm
Okay.
already like searching for like off-road clubs and stuff in the area so I could like link up with somebody and
do
go
they
wheel.
have Facebook events there?
That's a brilliant idea. Maybe that's where I should start searching. I did see a couple photos of some pretty built rigs that are like samurais down there and they're just gnar.
What could the off-road scene possibly be like?
Probably intense because it's all rainforest.
Yeah?
So I'm
Some,
down.
like East Coast wheeling where there's no
Yeah,
traction
yeah.
and there's just a lot of bumping.
Yeah, I'm in.
Hell
Count me
yeah.
in a new place, go wheeling like that would be epic.
Dude, those are those memories that stay with you forever.
Yeah.
I love it. Both keep your eyes peeled for Trail Dust,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have like a website going yet?
I do, Outlander Grinnell.
Okay.
And I'll get that info to you.
Yeah,
But that's
I'll
where
have
you
that
can buy
all
it.
linked below.
Yeah, I launched it just a handful of weeks ago and sold out immediately.
Dude, hell yeah!
So
That's
it's
so
shipping
cool.
all over the country. So as soon as I get back to the Midwest and headquarters, I'm gonna re-up and kind of get things going and push the next level out and then hit the plane and head south.
Nice.
So
Hell yeah, dude. Well, thank you so much for being here. This
Thank
has
you for
been
having me.
awesome. Definitely made a new friend today. Thanks for checking out Bent Motorsports.
hell yeah, appreciate you. It's first time I ordered like a Sada burrito when I got to the Midwest. Literally the big first bite of like, oh, thank you. It was ground beef.
Ugh.
And I've been just like
What is this, Taco Bell?
scarred for my whole life out there.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
I was like, I'm gonna burn this whole state down.
Straight to
right
jail. You give me a taco with ground beef in it,
now.
straight to jail.
And it wasn't even seasoned. It was like brutal.
Because they expect you to put ketchup on it.
Oh, the state hot sauce.
Oh yeah.
Heinz.
Yeah, Heinz. That's hot sauce.
Rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. Rock to the rhythm, you don't stop.